Hey everybody, I'm so excited to make biscuits with you. It is one thing to break bread with people, it's another thing to make bread with people. And I want to show you how to make a really delicious biscuit. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing is measuring flour. And so, it's always easier in a bowl, but I am just aerating my flour. You can actually feel how light the flour is. And you can see, watch my video on how to measure flour. Measure out 2 cups, it's super light. You can find these beautiful measuring cups on QVC.com. Carla's Sweet Heritage line. Okay. Have my scoop and squeegee. I go straight across. Ooh, I see where I mess. Okay, I see where I can fill in that to make it a perfect 2 cups. All right, perfect 2 cups into the bowl. Okay. Boom. All right, boom, boom. 2.5 cups of flour, all measured. I'm doing a teaspoon of salt. I just use my workhorse of a salt, which is kosher salt, because I always have it. If you have a fine salt, that's fine. That's fine. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I just use that little piece of cardboard to level it off. A tablespoon of baking powder. Tablespoon of sugar. All of my dry ingredients I mix in. If you're going to be putting in cinnamon or other flavors, dry flavors, they would go here. 2 tablespoons. Okay, that's 1. Boop. 2. All right. Now your butter needs to be cold. Your shortening does not need to be cold. You need to mix the shortening in completely. If you don't mix the shortening in, you will have a very weird textured biscuit. It'll look almost wet. The shortening is the ingredient that keeps your biscuits soft. If you don't have shortening, you can always throw in like a regular oil, like a vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and mix it into your flour. All right, so I'm going in, my thumbs are just working that shortening just like that. I don't see any pieces of shortening, nothing. Next, my butter, it is cold. It doesn't have to be frozen, but it has to be really cold. I'm going to go into the flour just to coat my butter with the flour so that my hands, my hot hands, do not melt the butter. All right. A regular old box grater. I'm putting a little flour on here. Now, just grate. Work quickly. Look, grated butter. Take this out, just toss this butter into the flour, separating the pieces so that if it is cool or warm in your house, it does not become a stick again, all right? You don't want to see your shortening, you want to see the butter, okay? You don't want to see the shortening, you want to see the butter. So this is done. If you're doing this ahead of time for your holidays, take this, put it into a zip top bag. This you can do ahead. It's all ready. And then you're ready to pull this out, mix in the buttermilk, but you can do this part ahead. All right. If you're adding something like cheese, if you're adding chives or herbs, this is when you put them in. You put them into your mixture after you do the butter. All right. So now, 1.25 cups of buttermilk. This is whole buttermilk. It is not low-fat buttermilk. It's hard to find. If you cannot find whole buttermilk, get your low-fat buttermilk, get some sour cream, and do like half and half. Half buttermilk, half sour cream, because then it will give you the consistency that you really want. All right, now I'm looking for a nice stiff spatula. I'm going to make a well in the bottom of my bowl. So go in with your buttermilk, I want my biscuit dough to be slightly sticky. When it's really dry, it just doesn't bake well. It's not a flaky biscuit, but do you, boo? Do you? I'm gonna put down a little bit of flour. A little bit of flour on here. Some folds like this. It's like a letter. Boom, boom. Make sure that I have my flour down. Same thing. I'm flipping that over because I want my underside to look nice and smooth. Boom, boom. I'm doing this 3 times. Folding over. See how pretty that looks? Now I'm going to pat my dough down. I'm doing about a 2.5 inch cutter here. And my dough is about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. The smaller the biscuit cutter, the thinner your dough has to be. Because if your dough is too thick and it's too small, it'll topple over. So this is a good thickness for this ring. I punch down, straight down, shake it out of my cutter, and then I flip it over. You see the pinched edge? That pinched edge should be on top because that's going to give you a little more lift. If you keep it like this, the weight of the biscuit keeps that pinched edge down. So this is what you want onto the sheet pan. And I'm going to continue to do that. Boom. See that? Turn it over. And all of you can't punch out another biscuit. What you're going to do, because this biscuit has to be just as tender as this biscuit, you're going to push this together, just like this. You're not going to start doing massaging or anything like that. You're going to push it together, pressing with your hands, and then you have what looks like the dough that you started with. You see that? I'm looking for the pretty side. This is the side that's going to go down. Look at the other side. I don't want that down because I want the tops of the biscuits to be smooth. So the pretty side goes to the cutting board. Okay? And then I press, and look at that. Look how pretty it looks. This is the granny biscuit. This was the biscuit that I wanted as a kid because this is the one that Granny shaped with her hands, and this is the one she touched the most. And this is the biscuit that I could see her little hands. So it's going to go to an oven at 400 degrees, and you'll see how pretty they are. Y'all, look at these. They're so beautiful. Nice color. The way you can tell if they're done, when you pick them up, I just ran up the steps to get these things, y'all. And I forgot I had on this red wig too, so forgive me. They should feel really light. So they're good.